discussing is the brand new Post Malone record, F-1 Trillion. F-1 Trillion is the sixth studio album by American rapper and singer Post Malone. It was released on August 16th, 2024. It is his first foray into country music. All right, Eric. Gonna have a lively discussion about this one because you are a resident country expert here. So I do want to get your thoughts on this to kick things off.
It's interesting because I'm the country resident, I feel like you should go first, but I'll
uh,
take the reins.
okay.
I'll say this. I'll say that I enjoyed listening to this album because I was very curious to see how he was going to do this, this is obviously a mashup with all these other artists, which I would say most of them are pretty good. Most of them they have very catchy lines.
Mm-hmm.
I think his voice suits country. However, I there was parts in the songs that it was like whenever he would sing Post Malone, it sounded auto-tuned.
I want to talk about this so badly. Finish your thought, and then I'm
Yeah.
gonna jump in.
And then it would go to the artist, and then the artist wasn't auto-tuned.
Yes.
So it felt like so he sings the verse and the chorus, and then the artist comes in, and then it almost felt like it was like a little switch went off, and I was like, what the hell is that? And I had to listen to it again, and I'm like, it's the auto tune turning off. That's what it is.
Yeah. No, the most annoying thing about this record is Post Malone's vocals when he's holding a note and he's trying to do that southern drawl, and it's auto tuned to do that tremolo like type
Yeah,
of like country trope vocal,
yeah.
but it's done with like effects, and it's the most annoying thing on the record. I hate it.
So the biggest thing, which I will say about this, because we mentioned now we're on the auto tune. I feel like we're on the auto tune like full gear here. So let's
Yep.
just stay in this lane. So speaking of Lainey Wilson before, the song Nosedive, I hated this song. And because every single time
Mm-hmm.
when he would be like, "It's on the nose dive," and it was it just drove me nuts because I was like, "This sounds terrible." Like, and I felt bad for Lainey Wilson just because her voice is really good,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just had this shit song that she was singing. So I couldn't stand that. I could not stand that. That really irritated me on this album.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the biggest thing is that some of these songs would come on the radio because a lot of them are popular, especially like the Blake Shelton one, "Pour Me a Drink,"
Right.
or the Morgan Wallen one, "I Had Some Help." And it was interesting because if you listen to it on radio, it's like quality is a little bit lower, and it sounds okay. It sounds pretty
Mm-hmm.
good. So like you're not getting like that full auto tuned like just punched in the face. Um, yeah, that
It
really
was
bothered me
it
on
was
this
so
album
annoying. It was so annoying.
because other than that, I thought the songs they were like fun country, and um, I guess I should talk about the good stuff because we're really like holding on to this auto tune thing. Um, what I liked about this album was that every time he collaborated with an artist, whether like Tim McGraw, Hank Williams Jr., Morgan Wallen, Blake Shelton, all of them, they all had the sound of that artist, that song, that specific song. So it wasn't like Post Malone made a country album and these people sang on the songs that he wrote. It almost felt very like this song sounds like a song Tim McGraw would make, right?
Right.
Or this song sounds like what Hank Williams Jr. would make.
Right.
So I thought that was kind of cool how they kind of stuck with that. Especially Brad Paisley, just like he's just playing on just noodling on his guitar, and it sounded like Brad Paisley's song, which I thought was cool. The lyrics I thought were kind of fun too, especially one of my favorite songs on this album are the Finer Things, and I know you have problems with Hank Williams Jr.
Yeah.
Um, but I love the chorus when he talks about like it's almost like this like lavish like
Hmm.
lifestyle that Post Malone would have, but it's not at the clubs anymore. Like you're out in the country, so it's like the F-1 trillion limousine. And my favorite line on this, which I thought was so cool and clever, was "I got a 10-point blonde in the shotgun seat," which is referring to hunting. So usually when hunters go hunting, they're just like, "Oh, I got a 5-point buck," right? And it's just like this big deal. So I thought that was kind of cool. I thought that was very clever. So, um, yeah, the songs were pretty like well written. There's some songs that I liked over others. Like I kind of related with the last song, "Yours." Just having a daughter and everything. So I was
Mm.
just like, oh man, like as I was listening to the lyrics, so I was like more thinking like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to go through this one day. But other than that, like the auto tune was the thing that brought this album down, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My favorite song is Mexico on this record. I love Billy
Mm-hmm.
Strings. I just love his playing. Um, and it was the one song on the album that I thought was a bit more fun than the rest. The rest of them seemed very, I don't know, generic country for the most part, or at
Yes.
least like a bunch of songwriters got together and just like, oh, this is what country is. That's going to be popular on the radio. Whereas Mexico felt more just like, let's just write like a really really cool like bluegrass type of song.
Mm-hmm.
So Mexico was my favorite one on this record. But yeah, like I don't know. I think it had too many features, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess my question for this to you is like, is this a country record? When
Mm-hmm.
I guess my problem with it having so many features is like I don't know who Post Malone is when I listen to this record. Like
Mm-hmm.
his identity as a musician or as an artist on this record just isn't there, because every single song except for I think two or three is
Mm-hmm.
like there's this person on every single song. And like his vision or his idea of what this record should be is sort of masked because it feels like every song is just designed to like feature someone.
and that's like I feel like there's a good point to that, because I do like how it sounded like the artist that was featured. However,
Mm-hmm.
if he is wanting to get into the country music, it's almost like these people need to hold his hand to show him what
Yeah.
this is all about,
Yeah. Yeah. So
right?
like, is Post Malone a country artist? I would say no, based on this record. He is someone
Yes.
who has recorded and released a country album,
Hmm.
but I wouldn't consider him a country artist based on this record because it's literally just features of country artists.
It's interesting because I read somewhere that he's like in an interview he said that when he becomes 30 or whatever age he was, I can't remember the exact age, that he was going to just go country because he's from Texas. He
Right.
wants to go that country route. Um, so I don't know whether or not this is his gateway of saying, "Hey, I'm knocking at the door and I
Mm.
and I want a piece of this," but I feel like he has a long ways to go, just because he needs to ditch that auto tune. I can tell you that right now,
Yeah.
because I've heard him sing raw, and he
Hmm.
did that Nirvana tribute, and it was pretty good. It was like his voice sounded
But
like.
but do you think his voice is suited for country raw? Like it might be good for
Mhm.
rock and roll where it's just like it doesn't have to be pitch perfect vocal harmony type of thing.
Yeah,
But in country music, unless you're doing like an old school like Hank Williams senior type of song or Johnny Cash song, I think the expectation is that you are singing in tune at all times.
and that's the big thing. Like he needs to come out with an album with no features,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna have to revisit this if he's a country artist thing, because it's true. Like he was good on that tribute,
Hmm.
so he does have a voice. But you're right. Does he have a voice for country music?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. But I don't know. I wasn't completely disappointed with this record. I
Hmm.
thought it was fun. I did get bored after a while, just because like it was just like feature after feature. And I was like,
Mm.
I don't know what the point of this is. Like, it sounds more just like a compilation record or a greatest hits type of record where it's
Mhm.
just like song after song with different people on it. But there were good songs on it overall.
Mhm.
I thought there were good songs on it, and I thought it was like a relatively fun record.
One thing I wanted to point out in terms of the production of this album, um, there were a few points that I want to make on this. There's some songs I can't remember the songs, but they were like it has this guitar intro, right? And it was almost like the guitar intro was like, this is my first time playing guitar. And then it was like then the song came in, but then it totally drowned out that guitar part. But if you really listen, you can hear it slightly in the
Mm-hmm.
background. And I'm just like, what was the point of that? You
Yeah,
know?
I don't
I
know.
also found on a couple of the songs, What Don't Belong to Me and I think it was Losers. There was one part where it was kind of in the first verse, and I don't know whether or not this has just happened to me or this was in your listening experience, but it sounded like the mix skipped like just like a millisecond of a
Oh,
beat. And
interesting.
it was odd. I was like, "What the fuck was that?" And then I rewound it and it kept doing it. So I don't know if it downloaded properly.
Mm,
So I'm curious to see if anybody else has come across that.
yeah, on the YouTube channel, let us know. Put
Yeah.
your comments and tell us if you also witnessed any skips in the audio. I
Mhm.
didn't notice anything personally, but I don't know. For most of this record, I was not like really listening to it because
Mhm.
at a certain point I was like, okay, it's just another feature. I got it. I understand what you're
Mhm.
trying to do. um, but yeah, like I don't know. The features are great. Even Dolly Parton, as much as I think she should
Mhm.
probably retire soon, because like I don't know, vocally she's sort of like at that point where Aretha Franklin was at like the age of 70.
Mhm.
Just like, yeah, it's nice that you can get up on stage, but you just can't hit those notes anymore. But I mean, it's still a fun song, that one. But I don't know.
Mhm.
There's just a
I
lot of
actually
good
thought I
moments.
was gonna hate that song, but
It was
it
good.
turns out that I actually didn't mind it. I thought she did a good job on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. It was good.
That
Yeah.
loser one, or no, not the loser one. Sorry, the nosedive one. I
Nosedive.
just
That's so
it was
funny.
a nosedive of a song. So,
All right, Eric. Final thoughts, ratings. What are you gonna give this one?
I also enjoyed listening. I listened to this album. Like there are some hits and they're very catchy. So and it's that kind of just like grand stadium country sound to it. So I'm gonna give this, even though the auto tune, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
Oh, okay. Seven
It's
out of 10.
it's it deducts a lot of points. And like I'm not saying this like as in like, oh, if you like Post Malone, you should check out this album. I would never say that. Or
Right.
if you like country music, you like this. But if you're kind of on the fence of country music and you've heard a couple songs that you like I think this is the album for you.
Would
This
you
is like
would you consider this a good gateway into country music?
I would say if people who hate country music, but there's those people that are like, "Oh, I like these two songs," and then they're like, "Really, you like those songs?" Like this is for those people.
Okay, I get it. I understand.
Yeah,
I understand. Uh
because like I know like Morgan Wallen and I'm gonna this is gonna hit like people are gonna disagree with me here, but like I would consider him more pop
yes.
and more like he is less country than what people think he is.
Yeah. I don't know why he's I guess
Yeah.
from affiliation he is in that country genre, but like musically
Mhm.
I don't know why he's in there.
Yeah, because like he uses a lot of like sampling in his music
Yeah.
and stuff, which country music doesn't really use.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Change Dragonfly says that's her. Hate all country except Save a Horse Riding Cowboy.
that is a great song.
I
That
do.
is a great song. Big and Rich
I
are
don't
probably
know.
one of my. They have a song for Christmas called "Getting Drunk on Christmas" because it's like I'm getting drunk on Christmas because my family's insane. And it's like everybody's there, but all he's doing is drinking on Christmas. That's what the song's about, to cope with the holiday.
So you gave it a 7. I actually agree with you. I'm also gonna give it a 7. I thought it was a fun record, but there's just no, like, I don't know who, based on this record, I don't know who Post Malone is, and I don't know what he is trying to say on this record because it is just drowned out by all the features. Now, if this is his gateway into getting into country music, fair enough, but like I don't know. It just seems like just a compilation record of just a bunch of songs and not a great album, but like with good songs on it. So yeah, I'll give it a 7 on this one. And I guess the burning question that most people are going to follow up with this is this better than the Beyonce country record?
Oh, see, I will have to give it to Beyonce in this one, just because she actually wrote the songs, or like it was all mostly just her. There wasn't a lot of, like, there were features, but it wasn't as much as this one. So based off of that, I would have to give it to Beyonce.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that. I thought you were gonna hate that record. I like this record more, but they're sort of in the same boat. Well, actually, Beyonce, I wouldn't even consider a country record. This one is just like, I don't know what the hell, like, I don't know what bucket to put this in. It's definitely country, but it's like it's not like a real album. I don't know. But anyways, I think that's it for this one. So that's our discussion on F-1 Trillion by Post Malone. For those of you who are following along with us every single week, the album that we are going to be discussing is the what kids on the internet are calling the Industry Plant, Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter. That is the record that we are going to be listening to because everyone believes that the record labels are paying Spotify and Apple Music to force her songs on your playlists.
This is the rival to Olivia Rodriguez, right?
Yeah. Olivia Rodrigo's rival, yes.
The next UFC fight card.
Although I think she's in other drama now with like Camila Cabello now, and like I think to be honest, it feels more just like contrived drama to get clicks. But
yeah.
Anyways, there's a whole drama thing happening.
That's what we got to do. We just got to keep doing the controversial statements, and then we'll create genre with these artists. And people will be like, "Who the hell are these two guys?"
Anyways, the record we're gonna do is "Short and Sweet" by Sabrina Carpenter. So that'll be for next week. So that's it for the Crossroads Music Podcast for another week. We actually went country heavy for the past 2, I think. So.
We did.
We're gonna go a bit more pop this time, but
we're gonna put the saddle on the shelf and
the cowboy hat. Yeah, putting away the cowboy
exactly.
hat. Catch us on Apple Music, Spotify, all those places. We're here at twitch.tv/the Crossroads Music Podcast, live every Monday at 10 p.m. ET, 7 p.m. PT. Join the Discord to yell at us on YouTube, yell at us at anywhere, really. It's all fine. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in, and we will catch you all next time.